Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 4 of the Realistic Subspace Hockey League. The final game for this week is between Shorthanded and Interference. Shorthanded played the other night, 2 nights ago actually, against Empire and put the beat down. Interference has had 2 really close games back-to-back, but they are still undefeated. I'm joined by Thrill and Navi. I believe it's just Thrill and I for right now. So Thrill, I'll just ask you flat out, do you like the fact, or if you're shorthanded, that you have played 2 games this week, or would you prefer to be in Interference's position?
Well, playing more games usually means, they're probably a little bit fresher. They're a little bit more used to playing league style this week, so a little bit of an advantage there, but I don't think that kind of thing is going to make a huge difference. But, I'm actually really interested to see how this game goes because so far, Interference is undefeated, but, they barely beat Red Dragons in overtime. They barely beat Empire in overtime. And, of course, Shorthanded has defeated those teams.
Do you think this game is as close as people say it's going to be?
I actually think it's going to be even closer than some people think, maybe. I mean, if you were going to bet money on it, I would probably bet Interference, but I actually would not be surprised if Shorthanded won, if they make the correct lines.
Who do you think will be the key players for each team?
I don't know. I would actually like to see Curly Pubes in net. He played goalie for Shorthanded the other day, and he looked really solid. Certainly probably a little bit better than Crystalline. I guess he's sitting on the bench, but I'd like to see him in net because I think he could be a big part of helping them pull off the upset. But Buckcat, of course, has 10 goals for Interference, so I guess that's definitely worth mentioning. And for Shorthanded, I mean, you got to say Bob is definitely their leader.
Yeah, this is definitely a situation where some people are calling Botmem 2. They say that he is just going to jump ship. We're actually joined by Londorf here. So, Lon, I want to ask you a question. Do you feel that Botmem 2 will end the season on Shorthanded, or do you think that he might jump ship to another team?
Can you hear me? This is a test.
Yes.
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure. I got to be honest, before I started to put my team together, in speaking with him, when I didn't have many people on my roster, I was actively trying to recruit him, and he was saying to me, he said he was going to see how it goes. So I don't know him well enough to know, but based off of what I've seen just of their performance, I would say he probably will end up staying with them.
Based on Shorthanded's performance so far this year, Thrill, do you think that, do you agree that he'll end up finishing the season there?
Yeah, I think he will. And just gauging from comments he's made and his general attitude over the past few weeks, I definitely think he'll stay on Shorthanded. I think if he was going to leave, he probably would have left when the whole TSC drama happened. The fact that he's stayed on with them since then and they've gotten a couple wins makes me think that he'll definitely stay on Shorthanded.
Well, Shorthanded certainly would love Botmem 2 to stay. He's one of their best players, potentially their best. He's on the ice tonight for them in a Terrier alongside Pooter 89. And Flooz and a Weasel, Sting and Meritrix will make up the Spiders. Crystalline will be in net there. On the other side, well, Linux, no surprise, in a Shark for ITF. Mace in a Javelin. TJ in a Spider. For a Fur. Weasel, Troy Dan, who gave up some lovin' with his girlfriend allegedly to be here tonight, and a Terrier, and Bucky will take the face-off as a Warbird. Puck is about to be dropped. Botmem 2 and Buckcat, definitely the 2 leaders of each team. And it's controlled by Botmem, who throws it into the ITF zone. TJ has the puck behind the net, dishes it over to Troy Dan. Troy Dan, we'll say, shuffles it back. Buckcat has a chance, passes the blue line. He's going to try and get a shot on Crystalline. He has the opportunity. Wow. Doesn't decide to shoot. He holds on to it. Troy Dan there as well now.
Yeah, both Sting and Crystalline missed checks there, so they want to make sure that they choose those a little bit more wisely because Warburg can definitely take advantage of that depleted energy.
Troyden has the puck behind the blue line with TJ. Gives it to Buckcat, who throws it up past the blue line. Fur will grab that puck. Fires it on net. Crystalline will not be caught off guard there.
I'm curious on your guys' thoughts of why Miratrix doesn't play Javelin. When I watch them play, just in scrim, they seem to be substantially better when he's in a Javelin.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see Miratrix playing a Spider, and if he's going to sit back like this, do you think he's as effective as he would be in maybe a mid to offensive Javelin role?
You know, I think that he would probably do pretty well in Javelin. I mean, he does all right in Spider, but especially since they are mostly a defensive-oriented team, it wouldn't hurt to have a ship that would give him a little bit more of an offensive punch. And, of course, I just think that the way the settings are, Javelin can sometimes help address deficiencies in a player's skill set. I think it might actually help them score some more goals.
Flew just puts the puck on Linux, so Linux gets an easy save. We've seen two decent Weasel shots at best, and I think that's being generous. Bucky's coming around. Everyone has Troyden with him, but Botman 2 gets the steal and throws it to Flew. They're going to go up past center ice.
I really would like to see Curly Pubes in this game for shorthanded, whether he's goaltending or he's playing like Warbird or something like that. I definitely feel like he should be in here, but I guess we'll see how the game progresses and if he gets any time in the future periods.
TJ has the puck at center ice, boards it to Mace 23. Back to Buckcat. Buckcat with a chance here, but Sting with a nice defensive play.
And I gotta say, I'm thinking that Interference feels pretty confident, seeing that Fur is in Weasel.
Well, that's a ship we have seen Fur play a little bit of, and that's a very easy save for Lennox there, too. So he's already above 80% save percentage. Very rare to see Lennox below that. Fur tries to find Bucky, but cannot do it. Misses the pass. Buckcat will pick it up and dodges Meritrix. Throws it off the wall for Troyden. Gives it back. And we might have an ITF opportunity here. Mace with a nice little move. And Crystalline will pick that one up. They were trying to find Bucky on the spawn. Bob M2 has the puck at his own blue line. Finds Flew, who will throw it up off the board to Meritrix. Buckcat will steal that one. Gets the kill. Wasting too much energy. And Crystalline will pick it up. They're going to try again. 8:23 left now in this first period. 2 shots apiece. Bob M2 with Meritrix.
I wonder where Advolt is this game, because I think that having Advolt in for Flew would be a good option for shorthanded to have. But I guess he's
going to try and work something in here. Fur with a slapper, but Bucky cannot find him. Shorthanded with 7 on their frequency as the Wolf is in spec mode. Mace gets killed by Pooter 89, and they will come back the other way. As Botman picks it up, he will throw it off the south board, but Bucky will catch that one instead. Gives it to TJ. TJ drops it for Troyden. Troyden can't find Mace. Comes off the boards. Flew will pick it up now. And here comes shorthanded. ITF, the king of the garbage goal. I don't think anyone would debate that. Pooter ships it to Meritrix. And they might have an opportunity here. Flew has the puck. Linux will not let that go in. Let's be honest here. And he'll throw it off the wall rather. Bucky with the puck. And nice dodging from Bucky. Finds Troyden. Troyden with Mace behind him. Tobias shoots, scores! Just like that, 1-0 ITF.
And you gotta say, watching the shorthanded and Empire game, one of shorthanded's biggest advantages in that game was they were doing really well on the forecheck. They were really creating a lot of havoc in the midfield and killing off Empire players. And they're trying to do the same thing here, but the interference players just keep dodging them. So maybe that strategy isn't going to work out quite as well against some of the higher tier teams.
Bucky gives the puck to Mace. And here we go. They're going to try and keep the pressure on. 3 shots on goal. 3 shots, 1 goal, I should be trying to say here. Troydan with a shot, scores!
Yeah, and once again, Troydan sweeping towards the top there, and Buttman missed a huge check.
Not many missed checks in Botman's career, but there is certainly one of the biggest, and now ITF leads 2-0 over shorthanded. Could it be, no timeout. Maybe thought they'd use one there to try to buckle down, but ITF will not have to take a break. They're going to keep going. Fur tries to find Bucky, and he will get the puck before Sting can. Bucky with some nice dodging gives it to TJ. TJ to Troydan. Troydan moves it up to Bucky, but Pooter will pick up that puck. Botman forcing a turnover. But Mace will immediately get one back, and then throws it to Meredrix. Wow, lots of stuff happening here.
Yeah, so far I feel like it's just the opposite of the shorthanded Empire game, where interference is the team that's continuously killing the shorthanded players on the ball.
Buckhead gets by Bop with Mace there. Mace gets killed. Troydan now has the puck already with a goal tonight. To Mace and gets killed by Pooter. Pooter moves it ahead to the other goalie, apparently. Big miss.
You know, the first 5 minutes of this game sort of had the feel of the Creasers BSK game. Pretty defensive. Everybody's feeling each other out, and I think what's going to be hard for shorthanded is it's hard enough to be 1 down versus Linux. So I envision it.
How did that not go in? Very close situation there. Wow.
Yeah,
That would have been, I think it's fair to say that would have been a goal.
2 big saves from Bop there, actually, because he saved the Weasel shot right before that, and then he saved that own goal. And it looks like Bop actually has more saves than Crystalline at this point.
Crystalline with a big save there. And she's willing to accept the fact that Bop was great in that situation there. Bop and Pooter taking over the blue line. The 2 Terriers with Meretrix and Flu. Flu shoots, scores!
Yeah, and that was a dud, so that's going to be clean, most likely.
No tank, that was just a dud. And shorthanded is on the board. Londorf, they are now only 1 down.
I was at a loss for words because I don't know how Crystalline didn't score on herself there.
Yeah, that's some huge procs from Bop, maybe using BL.exe there.
We have another chance here for shorthanded. Bopman picks it up. Oh, Buckcat with a big kill. That was a dud there from Bopman 2 and Fur of Fur. 4:30 left. Linux now, that save percentage drops a little bit more, but when you're that good, people generally will not take weak shots on you. Mace crosses the blue line. He will ship it ahead to Troydan. Troydan moves it north. He'll give it to Fur of Fur. Fur will give it away to Flu, the other Weasel. Puck crosses center ice. Pooter now has it. And we might have another chance here for shorthanded. No, Troydan forces the steal. And Bucky gets killed by Botman for no reason. And now Bucky, with that full energy, gives it to Troydan. Bucky and Troydan working something here, but Botman comes back on D. What just happened?
Looks like maybe the server died.
Puck moving toward the goal. And will it go in? Will it? No, it stops.
Yeah, and the timer stopped as well, so module probably definitely died.
There's the message, ladies and gentlemen. The zone has gone down. We'll take this opportunity here to talk a little bit about this game, what we've seen so far. Shorthanded had a very, I don't know if I would say that was a lucky tank, or a lucky dud rather. What do you guys think?
Well, it was a level 1, so it was a Weasel. And you have to say there that I don't know if I would necessarily say it's lucky. I mean, he hadn't used shift that much yet, so it seems perfectly reasonable that a level 1 ship might not get the kill there.
Yeah, considering that they have a 2-goal lead, I think it's pretty uncharacteristic that anybody would be that wide open in front of the interference net.
This game will continue when the zone comes back up, under the impression that it will not be down long.
And this is actually, I know that they scored the last goal, but in the last couple minutes, shorthanded, it seems a little rattled, like maybe not sure how to deal with interference pressure. I'm seeing a lot of turnovers, so this will be good for them. Regain their composure, maybe talk about what they want to do, and maybe slow the pace of the game down a little bit.
I don't think we've seen the zone crash in a game since Empire versus Direwolves in the preseason.
I think that Mace 23 is going to be the difference maker tonight. He's already got 1 goal. I envision that he will get a couple more.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised from that. Shorthanded really needs to step up, I think, and hit some more of those checks, because on a couple of those goals there were definitely a couple of missed checks on my screen that could have made the difference. And although I do think the defense has been kind of lackluster, I've got to say I really do wish Curly Pubes is in their net, because based on his performance the other night, he's pretty solid in that.
Navi, with the new GIF, the technical difficulties, please do stand by. We will keep you updated as much as we can.
How you doing tonight, Red Raven?
Well, various video games I want to play and stuff, so hopefully this game will be able to get underway very soon. I do work very early in the morning tomorrow.
What about you, Lon George? Got anything going on?
I'm enjoying watching this Blue Goku vs. Thrill thread play out. This could go down as maybe as epic as Fett vs. myself back in the day.
Yeah, Blue Goku vs. Thrill, that one looks really interesting.
All right, here's the question, you guys. This is what kind of an interesting topic I think some people might be interested in. If you were forced right now to start building a fantasy team, and you two are the captains, Thrill and Londorf, without question the 2 best players in the zone. Well, maybe some people may think Londorf is, and Thrill thinks he is. If you were to start drafting right now, I'm going to flip a coin. Londorf, call heads or tails?
Tails.
I don't actually have a coin, but coins generally always fall on heads. So here's the deal. Thrill, what you're going to do is you guys are going to take turns drafting goaltenders. Thrill, start us off.
All right, I will. You know what? I think I'm gonna take Super Dan.
Wow. Can I take Super Dan?
No, Super Dan was just picked by Thrill. I understand the confusion, though.
Do I have to pick people that play goalie, or somebody that could play goalie?
Well, I mean, in all likelihood, you could feasibly pick Blaka Blaka, but I think he is more of an offensive player.
Well, then I have to pick Linux. That's pretty obvious.
Thrill, who is your second goaltender?
Oh, we're still going with goaltenders?
Yeah, each team needs to have 3 goalies.
All right, I'm going to go with Yonki then for my next pick.
Blondorf?
Lysdexia.
And Thrill, your final goalie?
Third string. I'll go ahead and go with cereal and milk. I give my boy some confidence.
And Londorf?
I would pick Super Freak if he was active, without question, but since he's not, I'll go with Boss.
All right, so basically the way this would work is each of these goalies would play 1 period. So with this situation now, you can start drafting mids or defense or offense. Basically, you need to come up with a line for the first period, line for the second period, line for the third period. So same thing, start with Thrill, who's your first draft pick. And obviously you have yourself on your team already, so.
Can I take myself again? No, I'm just kidding. I think that, yeah, I guess I'd probably have to take Blecka Blecka.
And I can't pick anybody he's picked, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'd probably take Rage.
All right.
I'm going to go with Jaywalking.
Meow Mix.
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and go with White Irish Rebel as midfielder.
We're still on forwards, you cheating bastard.
No,
I thought
no,
he said we
it's
could choose
anything.
any.
Defense, mids, or offense. So far, we have a line of Thrill, Blecka Blecka, Jaywalking, and then White Irish Rebels a mid. For Londorf's team, you have Londorf, Rage, and Meow Mix on offense, I believe. Who else you got, LD?
Probably got to go with my boy Cookie Wolf.
As mid?
Yep.
All right, Thrill, you got one spot left for your line here.
You know, I think that I probably would go with, you know, if we're going just for the overall best team, I think I'm probably going to have to go with Saving.
And Londorf, your final player on that first period line.
I should have picked Heads. Honestly, I'd probably... in a perfect world, I'd probably put Deej on defense.
Deeds?
Deej! DG!
Oh. He doesn't even play, though.
Yeah, he's played some this year.
Does he go under an alias?
He plays on Deej.
I'm pretty sure I haven't seen Deej since the first time I played.
He's played some.
I gotta look this up. And if he did, I certainly didn't broadcast those games. But anyway, now we're gonna actually switch it up here. Londorf, you can decide you can start the second line.
Okay. Probably, do we have to pick active people? Have they had to play this season?
That's yeah.
Okay, I'll take Botman too.
See, for second line, I'm going to go ahead and start off with Zeppelin.
Banana Squadron.
And I'll take Envy.
You can't just read off the BSK roster.
I'm not. Those are two players that I would pick. Come on.
The best part is you're putting them all in the second line. Ooh! Having said that, I'll take BLA.
Thrill?
I think I'm going to take... I'm going to go with the Dupster.
LD?
Violence.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Are any of these players? Are all these players offense for you?
Bop, Banana, and BLA would be. I put Violence and Spider mid.
Yeah, Envy would probably be sort of a midish role for me, just to put that out there. And for my next pick, I guess I'd have to go with. Yeah, I guess Alondra's going to harp on this, but I would go with Joe Sakic for D-mid.
Career second liners, the Baby Seal Killers.
Yeah, one last pick here, Londorf.
The pressure's on here. I think I'd probably go with cocaine.
And final pick for the second line, Thrill.
I guess. I'd probably go ahead and go with Jug, actually.
You'd probably go with Smalls.
All right, so we have the first two lines and the goalie lineup. I'll have to get a third line from you guys later. The zone is back up.
I don't know anybody else. We're going to have to stop with two lines.
Excellent.
I'm predicting the final score is going to be 5-3 ITF.
I think that's a pretty good prediction. I just want to let you both know you made me incredibly sad by not making me your third string goaltender. Devastated.
I think highly of you.
Yeah, you're a great commentator.
I enjoyed that. 3:42 left in this, what is it, first period, I guess?
Yes, it's still the first period. Looks like 3:42, so they're getting the time and stuff like that set up. And we'll see if shorthanded's been able to settle down a little bit.
What's the over-under on Buckcat goals today?
2.
Yeah, 2 or 3. That seems fair. I really feel like it would be less if Curly Pubes was playing goalie, but
Who is
Actually, who had the first goal? Who had the first goal for ITF?
Mace, was it Mace 2-3? Yeah.
Yeah, it was
2-3.
Mace winning.
Curly Pubes is African Panda.
So I just want to ask you guys this now while we have a brief moment. Mace 23 or Mace 23 and Short Man 148 or Short Man 148?
Mace 23, Short Man 148.
And Pooter 89?
Exactly. You gotta read it.
Attaboy. Here we go. Shorthanded with a chance. Flew has the puck. Oh, Meritrix tried to put it on net, but TJ with a big save.
Yeah, going back to what Lonsworth was saying, you gotta think he might have been able to do a little bit more in a javelin there.
I just alt-tabbed for a brief moment to close my browser, and the puck, it looked like it was going to squeak past Crystalline.
See, that same spot that Ouijian just made a nice stop on, that was the same spot Flew scored. I was surprised that he was able to be there.
A very nice play there for sure. Bucky has the puck back over the blue line, taking it to center ice. He finds Mace. There's a 3-on-2, although Bob's trying to get back really quickly. Buckcat has the puck behind the net. Gretzky's office, they used to call this when he played before 1999. Buckcat has it in the southwest part of the arena. And Flew will throw it up to Sting. Sting drops it back down to Pooter.
They call it Frill's office in Hockey Zone, always back there behind the net.
I'm pretty sure they call that the Red Ravens hell. Botman throws the puck on net. Lennox will pick it up for the easy save. Fur back to Mace 23. Trying to find Troy Dan. He does. Gives it to Buckcat. Buckcat with Troy Dan, but a big kill by Sting ends that chance right away. Flew throws a puck underneath the net.
Yeah, I think he was trying to go for some kind of weird snipe play there or something, but doesn't quite have his placement down.
Mace tries to find Buckhat and just barely misses. We are under 2 minutes. The Flew Hog number count is at 2 from somebody in spec working the truck. Botmem has the puck. Oh, Troydan misses that check. 90 seconds left now. Mace has the puck below his own net. Boards it to Bucky. Bucky to Troydan. And Bucky will have a chance here to Troydan. Fur gets killed by Pooter. And shorthanded might get another chance here on net. All the puck phases through Meritrix. Comes all the way down to ITF's zone. Linux will pick it up. Flew tanks, or duds Bucky, I should say. Bucky's going to let that puck phase him, it looks like. And here comes ITF. You might think this might be a lag goal if it goes in. Mace throws it on net. Oh, it's off the post. And Crystalline with a big save. Not really a big save, just a save. Pooter crosses center ice. Gonna try and dud some shots. Does so. Botman throws it on net. Linux will make that save.
How do you rate Linux's ability to work the ball as a goalie, Raven?
You know what, that's something I'd have to think a little bit more of. Oh, wait, hang on, we have a chance here. Never mind. Pooter with a kill. In terms of puck control?
Absolutely.
That's interesting. There are a few things that I don't think Linux can do. There's very few. Maybe puck control would be one of those weaknesses.
I think
And
he
that's
does
the end
all
of the
right
first
with
period.
it. I think that he generally seems to do okay, but he has moments when he just kind of coughs it up or makes a weird decision. But I don't think it's like a weakness per se where I notice him just giving the puck up like all the time.
If I may ask you here, Londorf, would you go as far as to say that Linux has so much trust in his teammates that he'll just get rid of the puck and throw it?
You know, he seems to be pretty thoughtful with the puck, but I've seen him play Spider, and he's awful. Like, inability to pass, so, you know, that's why I wanted to ask you what you thought. I think if there was a weakness in his game, that would probably be it.
Going back to what Red Raven said about Linux trust in his teammates, and I think I've said this before, I think that's actually one of Linux's biggest weaknesses is the fact that he goes into the proper position, which of course depends on your teammates, you know, covering their assignments. So if you can really abuse the defensive players on Linux's team, then you can sneak some goals in there.
The good news for Linux and ITF is that generally the team is really solid defensively and they don't have to worry about that. But on a lesser team, that certainly could be an issue. And I do wonder how Linux would do on some of the lower tier teams.
Well, I remember he played for Legends, a team captained by Maelstrom and Goldeye a couple of seasons ago, and they were pretty bad, but I think that they ended up barely squeaking into the playoffs, and, you know, they didn't win the cup or anything, but they did make the playoffs, and he pretty much carried them there. So, you know, he still does well on those teams, but it's just you can't really win a season or go deep into the playoffs with that kind of team.
5 seconds left in this intermission. ITF interference, the defending champs leading 2-1 over shorthanded. If interference gets a point in this game, they go back to the top of the standings. But as it is right now, Dirty Birds with their win earlier this season, or earlier this week rather, are on the top spot. And actually, Curly Pubes is now in the game. Crystalline's still in as well. So Curly Pubes will play the Warbird. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice for them to get a Warbird in there. Give them a little bit of speed.
And there's the Wolf out of nowhere in Leviathan for the record.
Yeah, and that's going like I was saying before. I think interference seems pretty confident. Like I said, they're playing Fur and Weasel. I mean, it's not unheard of, I guess, but he's by no means an offensive player.
We
given
just
the-
witnessed a big turnover from Linux there as well. Just a bad pass. I wonder if he was thrown off his game by the comment from LD.
You know, as a captain, if I'm playing against interference, I'm not playing ship 1 because the speed differential with the ball penalty is not worth the offensive chances you're going to create, and I don't think you beat Linux one-on-one in a Warbird anyway.
That's a good point, but I gotta say, I like getting Blue out of the game because I feel like he just doesn't work that well with teammates, and I don't know. I'm not sure that he's doing that much for it. He did score the goal, but as more of a defensive error, I think.
Meritrix put that puck on net, save from Linux. That's now his 4th unofficial save. Curly Pubes is going to try and get by the Wolf. Good luck to you. Buckhead coming back to help out as well. Everybody comes back for ITF. Great team defense there. And Pooter and Meritrix going to try and make something happen. Pooter being patient, and Pilot actually in the game and makes a nice little play. Bucky comes across the blue line. We're aware it's orange, ladies and gentlemen. And Mace to Buckcat. Bucky gets the puck to Mace, but he's killed, and now they're coming back the other way. It's shorthanded with a chance to tie this game at 2. Pooter with a move, misses the net horrendously. Linux will pick that up and drops it to Fur of Fur, who boards it all the way to center ice. It's turned over. Sting picks it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if shorthanded is maybe feeling outclassed a little bit, but a couple of their players have been missing the net pretty badly, and you got to wonder sometimes when you're feeling really pressured or you feel like you're outclassed, you make uncharacteristic mistakes, and maybe that's something that's happening here for shorthanded.
Buckcat to Mace. Mace, no, he hangs on to the puck a little bit. He's looking to board it to Fur of Fur. Just going to toss it right back to Buckcat. Throws it to Buckcat again. Mace to Pilot. And a little bit of lag there. Both duds, no tanks. Bucky in the northeast corner of the arena. To Mace. Mace tanks, or duds everybody, I should say. Well, no, that's a tank. No dud message. And now Curly Pubes looking to break out. Can't do it. Fur of Fur with a big check. Fur of Fur playing both periods so far. Pilot dishes the puck to Buckcat, who tries to find the Wolf. But no dice. Bucky to Pilot. And they're going to make a move. Pilot gets killed by Meritrix, and that ends that drive.
Yeah, it's pretty much 5 against 2. The entire shorthanded team collapsed pretty well there.
I often wonder what this game would be like if you were only allowed to have a certain amount of players back on defense. Pilot to Fur of Fur, and we have a chance here. Pilot drops it down to Mace. Crystalline will pick that puck up. No save registered. And Botmem 2 Curly Pubes. Meritrix Pooter 4 on 3 rather. The Wolf is back. Sitting pretty far back. Botmem 2 shots. Saved by Linux.
Yeah, I feel like shorthanded is shooting sort of just to shoot because certainly there was no opening there, and it looks like whenever they get the puck around the net, they're just happy to have it around there, and they're just kind of mashing the control button. I like to see them be a little bit smarter with the puck around the net.
That is kind of Botmem 2's game. He seems to find openings that you just don't think are there and somehow puts them in. But he's not going to shoot there. Linux will get the kill first. A goalie check. Pilot carries the puck over center ice. And well, this is the first opportunity to do it. RSHL trivia, speaking of goalie checks, who leads the league currently in goalie checks?
I'm going to go with the Red Raven.
Yes, it is. Good job. He has 60. No, he's 40. That's not true. Pilot will get that puck back. Actually, maybe it is 60. No, I'm pretty sure it's 40. Somebody should look that up. Puck comes around the net. Fur will pick it up. Puck is thrown down off the board. It ricochets straight to Curly Pubes. I love the fact I have to say pubes like that because of the U. Good old radio training. Buckcat drops it to Fur of Fur. He finds Pilot, who finds Buckcat. 2-on-1 against Sting. Buckcat Oh, he has no opportunity, no opening. He'll just leave the puck for Fur off the boards. Meritrix dumps it up to Pooter, gives it to Botmem. Gets a ball kill on Buckcat, and Pilot says no.
I feel like Botmem's soloing a little bit too much, but wait.
Here's a chance. Pooter shoots, scores! I think that might be clean, and that would tie this game at 2.
Yeah, and that was a smart play by Pooter, I guess. But one thing I'm confused about is Lennox was trying to read the pass top, and it didn't look like the Wolf had top or bottom there. Maybe that was just me. I mean, I didn't see a check or anything. What did you see there, Lonsworth?
I think that the Wolf is going to be a big liability for interference, and I'm surprised that, given the angle as well, that Lennox didn't stay with the shooter.
Yeah, I agree with you. It seemed as if that was the most obvious play, but even the best make mistakes at certain times. 6 minutes left in the second period. We're tied at 2. Shorthanded is being very competitive with ITF. We've seen a lot of this year. Do you think it might be just the fact that ITF is not playing their best lineups? Hang on, we'll have to wait for an answer after this. Botmem throws it up, but Pilot will turn it over, and he'll try to get the pressure off of ITF.
Well, I told you before the game that I felt like the game was going to be a lot closer than most people thought. And one of the reasons is I'm not really quite sure where to rank interference yet this season. I mean, they lost some key players and they're undefeated so far, but they've had a pretty easy schedule compared to others. I mean, they haven't faced a Baby Seal Killers or an Execution or a Dirty Birds, and all those teams have kind of faced each other. So we see where people stand a little bit in terms of skill, but we haven't seen those games from interference just yet.
Londorf, are you offended that he didn't mention kick you apart?
No.
Fair enough. Here's a 2-on-1 Fur with Pilot up against Sting. Pilot will just take the puck up. Oh, he's going to wait for more teammates. Mace 23 with a dud and throws it on Crystalline, who gets the save. Fur keeps the puck alive for ITF. Mace at center ice to Fur. Dumps it to Mace, who gets killed by Meritrix, and now shorthanded has a bit of an opportunity here. They don't have the numbers. Curly Pubes will have the puck to Botmem. And a lot of killing near the crease, but ITF still comes out with it. Meritrix with a steal. We have another chance here for shorthanded. Oh, that's unfortunate lag for them.
Yeah, and I gotta say that interference may be reverting back to their run and gun style of old a little bit, because shorthanded has had several odd man rushes over the couple of minutes.
Sting has the puck at the blue line to Meritrix. Spider to spider action. Throws it to the Warbird, Curly Pubes. Botmem 2 cherry picking a wee bit, coming back to help. And he ends up with the puck, no surprise. Pooter to Botmem, and Mace with a kill. We have another 2-on-1 against Sting. It's Pilot and Mace this time. And no mistake from Sting, kills Pilot. Curly Pubes crosses center ice, and here's a breakaway, sort of Botmem 2. He just hangs on to it, throws it down, and Lennox with a save. He had Meritrix up north, but Lennox with a big save. Buckcat to Pilot, and Pooter gets the steal. 2 Terriers against the Leviathan. Pooter can't find Botmem 2, and Lennox gets an easy save. Pilot has the puck north again. Gives it to the Wolf, who narrowly avoids passing the puck directly to Botmem. Over 3 minutes to go now. Buckcat trying to get something going. Crystalline with a save there. Bucky just trying to get something on net.
Raven, as a goalie, do you prefer to defend on the right or the left side, and why?
You know, this is an interesting question, because I hear from a lot of people they prefer the right side, but when you're practicing in half court, when there's only a couple people online, you're always practicing the left side. Personally, I don't have a preference either way, and I don't want to be that kind of superstitious player. Meritrix hits the post. What do you guys think? Do your goalies prefer to be on the right or the left?
Well, I can't speak for every goalie in the zone, but
Buckcat shoots. Oh, he misses the net. That was a wide open net for Buckcat.
just speaking from a logical perspective, the radar and the map is on the lower right-hand corner, so if you're on the right-hand side, that doesn't interfere with your ship because it's behind the net. When you're on the left side, it can block vision a little bit. Maybe some people use transparent radar to accommodate for that, but that's just something that I take into account.
Certainly, and actually I have tried the transparent radar and I'm not a fan of it, but I actually prefer to have the F2 window open, and when I'm on the left side I can do that. When I'm on the right side I cannot. It's a very similar thing. There's disadvantages to both of them. I prefer to not have to worry about either one, but I play on a big enough... Hang on a second, Pooter. Oh, Bombman 2 threw it on net, but Curly Pubes with a save. That's really unfortunate. That could have been a 3-2 game for shorthanded. Botmem 2 is going to just power into the net and try to find an opening. He'll draw past it to Linux. And you know what? What I was going to say is with the resolution that I play at, the radar doesn't come into play that often, but man, that was a close call for ITF. 1:18 left in this second period. 2-2. We might have another chance here. Pooter to Botmem, and the Wolf stands his ground.
Yeah, and I don't think people should be too critical of Curly Pubes there, because there's kind of a scramble before Bop got the puck there, so it wasn't like this is a well-developed play and he just got in the way. It's just the set of circumstances that led to Bop getting that shot. Curly Pubes was in that position at the time. What do you think about it, Lonjor?
I always prefer to go, well, attacking-wise, and I prefer to go from left to right, and a lot of goalies that I've spoken with prefer to defend the right side, and I think that's because naturally in the Western world you grew up reading from left to right, so it's just much naturally to see the play progress.
Oh, that is definitely an interesting take on it. TJ has entered the game as a spider. Oh, for a shoot, he scores! And just like that, ITF could be leading 3-2.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I saw clean. Fur just took a quick shot. Crystalline wasn't quite in position to save that, and with only 10 seconds left in the period, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking for shorthanded. They just tied up the game recently, and it didn't seem like it was very easy for them to do that.
But puck is going to be dropped by Blucka. And it goes. There it is. Okay, lots of lag. This is another tank message, so this won't count for anything. Sting will just dump away the puck, and that's the end of the second period. ITF leading 3-2. .146 left in this second intermission. Shorthanded down a goal. Do you guys feel that this game would be swinging into shorthanded's favor had Fur not scored there?
Well, they have a shot advantage now. It's 10 shots to 5. And I think the goal is probably a little unfortunate because interference is probably going to make some substitutions and bring a stronger line in. So shorthanded may have just squandered their opportunity to take an advantage in the game.
I think that the zone crashing may have had a bigger impact than people think. I think that they spent the majority of that period on the attack.
Botmem 2 just jumped into Spec, and Flu is back in as Weasel.
Well, I hope that's not going to be the final lineup. But,
Troydan back in as a Terrier.
Yeah, Tijan back in as well.
Yep.
And the Wolf is out.
As is Flu, actually. They're mixing it up a lot right now. What do you think would be the best lineup for shorthanded to run right now, guys?
Well, judged on basing on who's here, you got to say you would want Botmem in the game for Flu, at least in my opinion. Chad Okliku, actually a pretty decent defensive midfielder, but Sting is okay as well.
You mean Shadow Click?
Whatever, yeah, Shadow Click, whatever, however you pronounce it.
Botman 2 doesn't seem to be bothered that he's on the bench to start this third period with his team down 3-2. We're waiting for confirmation. I asked him, benched, your choice. He says to split time, yes. So maybe Botman is planning to stick around and help his teammates become better. While Shorthanded is in a game right now with interference. It's a competitive game, but they are down by 1 goal. 11:53 left in this third period. Buckcat narrowly getting a breakaway, but Meritrix with the steal. Flew has the puck outside the blue line. Back to Sting to Flew. And Troy Dan duds. And Buckcat's going to get a little bit of an offensive opportunity here. Maybe. No. Curly Pubes with a kill. Sting takes it behind the net. Decides not to pass to his goaltender. Gives it to Pooter instead. And Mace almost getting a chance there. Bucky trying to get a steal. Can't do it. Meritrix turns around. Dishes it to Pooter, who gets killed. Troydan with a legger message. Doesn't matter. Sting gets the puck back for shorthanded. Curly Pubes gonna try and make a move on Linux. Pooter shoots. Oh, DC, and then they score.
Yeah, so that would be a delayed penalty, so the penalty is not going to count, I believe, and that's just going to be a goal for shorthanded, if this is called correctly. From what I understand, at least.
Well, yeah, it would make no sense to call the penalty and then remove the penalty, so that is just delayed penalty. It's a goal. It should be anyway. It should be a tie game, 3-3. Well, it looks as if it will be called a penalty and then immediately taken off of the board.
Well, I don't think there's a need for that since it's supposed to be delayed, but
Well, apparently the penalty needs to be called for stats, so what will happen is it will be called a penalty, and then the goal will be called just to make the stats legitimate. And the penalty for the penalty chart, according to TJ, who is actually the guilty party. So here's the first DC for TJ, and then the goal will be called clean. We've all learned something today. 3-3, shorthanded back in this game. Botmem 2 actually with a message saying his team can hold their own, and then right after that goal says, "See" with a question mark. So obviously it seems, as of right now, that Botmem 2 is in this for the long haul. Blucka has the puck at center ice. He's turning around. What a cute guy that guy is. Pooter now going the other way. Here we go. Flew. And now Mace 23 will turn that around. Troydan to Mace. ITF would really like to avoid overtime. Fur throws it down. Meritrix with a steal. Lots of stuff happening here. Flew boards it to Pooter. Pooter to Flew. TJ now has the puck at the crease. Buckcat will cross the blue line. And that is a narrowed mispass. Sting behind the net, looking for Curly Pubes. That's a weird thing that I never thought I'd say out loud. Pooter to Meritrix. Botmem 2 saying an own goal is coming. Meritrix had an own goal this year against Empire, and I think that's the only one so far. So Meritrix in very unique company. Buckcat. Mace to Buckcat.
well, you gotta say, Pooter has 2 goals so far this game, and the offensive star for shorthanded so far. And so it has not really been Botman, at least in this game. Pooter stepping up a little bit.
Botman's going to have the TSN impact play of the game for that blatant own goal by Crystalline earlier.
Yeah, that's a very good point. This game. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, Linux with a big save. That was a big opportunity. Narrowly missing that chance. Yikes. Troydan finds for a fur, but Pooter comes up from behind with a shot from behind. And Meritrix will dump it down to Flu. Troydan crosses the blue line. He'll shillelagh that back to Fur. Comes back to Troydan. And Buckcat can't get that kill. Curly Pubes picks up the puck past the center ice image. 8:35 left in this third period. Tie game, 3-3. Troydan gets killed. Flew. TJ with a BK. Lots of action in front of that crease. Curly Pubes to Meritrix. And it's 3-on-1. Curly Pubes to Meritrix shoots, scores! And all of a sudden we have a 4-3 game.
On my screen, I saw the defender hit him before he shot it.
Well, there was a dud. There was one dud. I didn't see a hit besides the dud. A couple of people. Looks like there might be some controversy, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think there was some controversy. I did not see the dud. I didn't see the shot, so. The dud was in the midfield, though. This is different.
Yeah. I didn't see a hit right around the net. But all right, so looks like it's clean.
And just like that, Meritrix with his first goal of the season.
I think something to note is that Shorthanded doesn't have their individually best offensive player on right now, and they seem to be quite effective.
Yeah, and you got to think maybe it's a chemistry thing because Botman, obviously a great individual player, adds a lot to a team, but sometimes he has kind of gone off on his own. And maybe now that these guys are passing around like a team, maybe that's making a difference for them in this period.
Well, not only that, but you have to appreciate the fact that Botman 2 is confident in his team, and the fact that he did spec, maybe he was able to give these guys some confidence that they did need. Hang on a second, Bucky with a chance, shoots, scores, and we have another tie game.
Yeah, and that's clean, and honestly, that should never happen. He went past like 3 defenders by himself. The goalie was there on that side of the net and just sort of went backwards instead of blocking off the angle. I mean, it wasn't just the goalie either, it was the defense as well. And one player should never be allowed to do that, to be honest.
Well, Bucky is one of the better players in the zone, potentially the best Warbird that plays, or at least top 3. And so far, he has his team back in the game, 4-4. Buckhead drops it to Troydan, 7.5 to go. Shorthanded, needs to make sure they can weather this storm. Mace 23 takes it south, drops it to Troydan, who will take it behind the net. No, he fakes, comes back.
And
throws it back to the blue line.
Interference has only 6 shots. Shorthand is 13. And you got to think the 4 goals on 6 shots. That's really, really Crystalline really struggling to get those saves. I mean, only 2 saves. I really think that I'd be a lot more comfortable with Curly Pubes back there. But I mean, that's a really bad save percentage.
It really is, but ITF is trying not to throw the puck just at the net, similar to how, well, to be honest, Botmem 2 was early on. Other than Fur's shot to open the game, there haven't really been that many bad shots from ITF. Meritrix. Oh, lots of killing here on the crease. Troydan stands his ground, ships it to Fur, tosses it to Mace 23. And Crystalline comes all the way back to pick up the puck and drop it to Sting. This is dangerous. Mace gives it to Buckcat. Hits the brakes. Dishes it back to his teammate. Looking to make something happen. And here's a chance. Breakaway. Mace 23. Crystalline with a double pump, actually. Looks like drained all her energy. Sting gives it to Meritrix. 6 minutes left now.
Crystalline Superfan has entered the arena. I'm not making a joke. That's actually an alias that entered the arena.
Well, that's amazing. The fanboy, Crystalline. Crystalline's fanboy, rather. Hooters 89 has the puck. Does a little move, gets by everybody. Here we go. Flew. Oh, wow. That was just unfortunate procs. I think shorthanded might have had a chance there. And now interference coming back the other way. 5.5. Mace to Troydan. Sting playing some D. Misses the check. Troydan takes it back. He'll leave it for TJ. TJ to Mace. Fur picks it up. Tries to find his captain. Buckhead does shoot. Scores! Crystalline out of position. A big mistake by Crystalline. And interference is up 5-4.
You know, I try not to be overly critical. It's hard for me sometimes, but I said this at the beginning of the match about the difference between Curly Pubes and Crystalline, and that was really just awful. I mean, the last 2 goals, she pretty much single-handedly might have blown this game for shorthanded.
And now you're going to notice Botmem 2 is back in the game. He will take the face-off against Bucky. He's going to try and do what interference just did, and that's come on the ice and just make a huge play. And that was close. DJ getting in the right position to make sure that... hang on, Buckcat with a chance. Shoots! And Crystalline will have the puck here, try to avoid an own goal. Botmem 2 there again. Sting has the puck. Interference up 5-4. Shorthanded needs to get a goal right now. Buckcat finds Troydan. We're going to get a little bit of a 2-on-1. Troydan, no, Sting with a nice little play on defense. And Flew has the puck at the blue line. Passes it up to center ice. TJ has the puck now.
Interference, shorthanded is lunging a lot there. You just saw 3 players lunge there. And now interference has had a lot of shots in the past minute or so to take it from 14 shots to 6 to 14 shots to 10.
Flew has Meritrix a little bit wide open here. Dumps it back to Flew. Flew trying to find somebody cutting across. Nobody moves. Lennox will take that off the wall. Gives it to Troydan. Mace to Fur. And that's trying to snipe the pass to Bucky. That's not going to work. Botmem 2 to Curly Pubes. No, fakes that pass. Gives it to Flew instead. Back to Botmem 2. They'll cross the blue line together. Dud message. Meritrix dodges Bucky's check attempt. Here's a lot of action on the crease. Lennox will just end it right there with a kill on Flew. 3.5 now left in this third. Interference up a goal. Buckhead can't find Mace. The puck gets dumped to the other side of the ice. And Crystalline will pick that up. Sting has it behind the goalie. Curly Pubes takes the puck to Meritrix. Dodges Mace and Bucky and Troydan. No, Mace will get that kill.
Interesting to note, Botman came in for Pooter too. And I'm not saying Bob shouldn't be in the game. I probably would have had him in there, but Pooter has 2 goals so far for shorthanded.
Maybe Pooter's trying to help his team with some confidence to say, hey, I believe in you guys to come back in this game. Here's Buckhead with a breakaway. And Crystalline will not be fooled there. Bucky will board it back to TJ. They're going to come right back up. All the pressure on shorthanded right now. Mace with a shot. Botman 2, the great defensive play. Oh, Buckhead with a steal. And he's not going to waste the possession, although he'll try something there. No luck. 2:30 left. Flew with Curly Pubes. I don't know how Curly Pubes procs that, but he did. Lennox will pick up that, or procs that puck for another save.
Yeah, that didn't even look like an opportunity. I'm not 100% sure what that was, but
that one off the wall. It looked like it almost caught Crystalline off guard, but she was in good enough position to stop that. Mace trying to find Fur wide open in front of the net. Can't do it. Oh, Mace! If Mace had been able to kill Sting there, that's an empty net goal. 2 minutes left. Interference up 5-4. Botman 2 needs to be the hero here, maybe in his mind. Troydan tosses it up to Bucky, who's CPing a wee bit, cherry picking. Gonna try and get around Sting. No, he'll wait for his teammates to come back. Mace 23 is there as well. Fur is up north. Troydan, Bucky, and Mace. What's the chance? Oh, Botman 2, another defensive stop. If he's not there, that's another goal. 1.5 left. Shorthanded. Needs a tie. Needs 2 tie, rather. 1 goal down. Phases through Flew. That's a dud, not a tank. Shorthanded. Would like to win another game. They won against Empire the other night. Curly Pubes has it. Flew shoots, and a save by Bob Mem, too. That's unfortunate. That's a very unfortunate situation. Bob has been making saves for both teams now.
Yeah, and you got to say that wasn't like the Curly Pubes DC. That was there really wasn't a reason for Bob to be in that particular position. And I got to say, Flew actually hasn't been playing as bad as normal. I would normally expect this game. He's been doing all right.
Puck phases everybody, and with 46 seconds left.
So on the topic of NHL line changes, if you're captain and you got 90 seconds left, do you pull Buckcat out with a 1-goal lead?
Well, I guess the player that they would be replacing him with would be the Wolf and Levy, which I guess it might work for them or against them, depending on what he does.
Well, interference is up a goal right now, so if anyone's pulling their goalie, might be shorthanded, but they actually did just bring Pooter into the game. So they're going all out here. Here's Curly Pubes up to Pooter. There we go. Meritrix down low, not allowing Pooter to get a shot south, although I don't know if that was there or not. Pooter finds Flew, and Mace with a big play. Troy Dan and Mace now with a 2-on-0 against Crystalline. It looks like they're just going to give it to Troy Dan. Oh, Bucky's coming up now. The drop to Bucky, shoots, scores. That'll ice the game. 6-4 interference. And they're telling Chris that she should have lunged, but you know what? 7 saves, 6 goals against. I'll be completely honest with you. As a goalie, that does not feel good. This game is basically over now. Interference might look for another quick goal just in case there's any sort of tiebreaker. Buckcat jumps, so he's going to come back. Oh, this would be really unfortunate for shorthanded if they were to score a last. They don't. That's the end of the game. Interference 6, shorthanded 4. Thanks for watching the broadcast. Here are the final words from everybody. We'll start with you, Thrill. Thoughts on this game? What do you think was the deal breaker?
Well, yeah, I got to be honest. Shorthanded, they generated a lot of offense, probably more than people expected. They did not check as well as they did in the Empire game. They were missing a lot of checks, but really the big thing is, you got to say it was the goaltending. They had the lead. Not every single goal was Crystalline's fault, but certainly after they had the lead 4-3, they pulled in. It was hard-fought effort there, and then she just let in 2 really bad goals with support from her team too. That really you shouldn't let in. One player versus 3 or 4 people. How is that going to go in? And I just don't know why they are still putting her as starting goalie when they recruited Curly Pubes, who honestly seems about twice as good as her.
So, Londorf, how do you feel about this game, sir? What do you think was the difference?
Kind of along the lines of my original thoughts. Mace ended up with 1 goal and 5 assists. He was in on all 6 of their goals. I think he was definitely the difference maker. There was certainly some not up to par goaltending by Crystalline, and that certainly is a difference maker. I don't know enough about Curly Pubes to say how much different that would have been, but I would definitely say Mace was what got them through today.
And here we are, interference 6, shorthanded 4. Thanks for watching Realistic Subspace Hockey League. It's week 4, and we want to thank everybody that's helped out with the broadcasts, because we've actually broadcast every single game so far, which is incredible. So thanks to Hammy, Bucky, Navi, Ark Diley, everybody that's been able to stream a game, and of course all the broadcasters that have participated. I'm the Red Raven on behalf of Thrill and Londorf. Have a great night, everybody. The rest is up to you, Navi would say, but he's not here, so I'll just say good night and leave it at that.